Welcome to our giant shamrock making workshop. So today we're going to put the 3 hearts that we have made together. We're going to put a stem on it and we're going to make a few suggestions on how to decorate your shamrock, okay? So I hope you've all got your 3 hearts made and you didn't find it too hard to put them together. And what you need to do now is you need kind of a flat surface or a nice table. You can work on the floor if you haven't got a big table or anything like that, but you need to basically set out your 3 hearts, okay? So I'm going to show you the 3 that I have here. I've got this one here. First one, I'm going to put it there in the middle. Got my other one here. I'm going to put it to one side, so the 2 sides of the heart are beside each other, and the third one here I'm going to put right beside it, okay? So when you lay out your 3 hearts like this, it creates the shamrock shape, okay? So we have the sides of each of the hearts are right beside each other. They're going to be joined up using cable ties, okay? So you can use gardening wire if you have that, or string as well, but it's good to use cable ties because they're really strong and really firm, and they just like really hold it all together for you, okay? Now another thing I have for this as well is the 2 hazel rods that we foraged for, okay? So we haven't used hazel yet, but we're going to use them to make the stem of the giant shamrock. Now these ones are nice and thin. They're not too thick, not too thin, I suppose, and they're nice and long. We won't need all of that length, but for the moment, we're going to leave it like that. We're not going to give it a cut, apart from maybe just taking off these little side branches here. So you have the little side branches, just give those a clip and take them off. And then that leaves you with the really nice long part of the hazel that we're going to use to create the stem of your shamrock, okay? So we have the 3 hearts, 1, 2, 3 beside each other here, and we have the stem. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to eye it out before I start tying anything together. I'm going to just see what it's going to look like. So I kind of have a plan, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some cable ties. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie these 2 hazel rods together, and the reason why I'm doing that is just to give them a bit of strength, because that way it's going to have the stem coming down from the shape of your shamrock, but also then if you wanted to hold it, should be strong enough to kind of hold up, or to tie to a wall or something like that. It kind of gives you that extra little bit of space, I suppose, to tie things together, okay? I'm going to put another one down here. Now I'm using white cable ties because they're less visible, so they don't really they're not seen as much, especially from a distance, okay? And I'm going to I put one up here, maybe about 50 centimeters up from the bottom, and then one again at the bottom. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, just do it by eye, okay? It's just to kind of give it a bit of strength, okay? Now, and I'm going to lay that down there. Now, I'm going to fix these 3 together in the position that I want them to be stuck together or attached together, okay? And I'm going to lay that down there. So the cable tie that's about 50 centimeters up along the hazel, I've placed where the 3 hearts kind of come together, okay? So at the point of the 3 hearts there in the center, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do, before I do any of the other attaching of the stem or anything like that, is I'm going to join this shape together here, okay? So the 3 hearts need to be really kind of firm and attached really well before you put on the stem, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 points with my first 2 hearts here. It doesn't matter which 2 you start with, but it's probably a good idea to stick one to the right or one to the left. We're going to start with the one to the right, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 points. So I'm going to put a cable tie here, and I'm going to put a cable tie down at the bottom here near where the points are. Now I'm going to bring the cable ties just around the main frame that you made using the willow, because that's really strong and it'll just keep it all together if you put it just on the frame, and then it doesn't interfere with any of your weaving or anything like that either, okay? So just give that a really good tighten. So the first cable tie is just there, so the 2 points of the heart have come together here, and there's a cable tie that's attaching the frame on the side of the 2 hearts. I'm going to put another one on now, just up a little bit from that, maybe about 20 centimeters up. So when my fingers are here, I'm going to put another cable tie, and again I'm just going to put it on the frame so it doesn't interfere with the weave, because it's nice to keep all the nice shapes and everything inside, and if you put the cable ties in too tight or around too much material in the inside, it'll interfere with that internal kind of shape, okay? Now really tight again. So what I've done there is I've got the 2 attached together, Okay, so cable tie here and a cable tie here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to get this part and I'm going to stick it on the other side like that. Okay, should be pretty strong. Okay, I'm going to put it back down, and again now I'm going to start by cable tying where the point is. So this is the point down here and the point of the center heart. I'm going to get my cable tie and I'm going to bring it around the frame of the hearts and really tie it tight again. Okay, that one's pretty tight, and I'm going to, just to get it really nice and secure, I'm going to put another one up here, same as I did on this side. So through the frame and the frame on the other side. Okay, put that in again. The cable tie was the wrong way around. Now you can use gardening wire for this as well, or string, but the cable ties are really handy, so sometimes you can easy to use. Okay, if you don't have them, don't worry, just a bit of wire or a bit of string. Now we have our shape. It's taking place. So we have our 3 hearts, 1, 2, 3, and we have the cable ties all together. I'm going to give you a look at that now from the front. Okay, so I'm looking at the back of it there, so I'm going to turn it around so you can have a look at the shape from there. Okay, so you can see the nice shamrock shape and the way the 3 hearts are like the 3 components together, 1, 2, 3, the way they come together. Okay, so that's nice and strong now. And the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to put on a stem. Okay, so the stem is going to come out down here. Okay, so I'll just show you that there. So we're going to get the 2 hazel rods which we got ready earlier on, and we're going to put those on to make to finish our shape for the shamrock. Okay, so I'm going to take those out of the way for a minute and we'll put those on. But in order for them not to be seen, we're going to have to put them on the back. So I'm just going to turn that around this way for me, and I'm going to put it on. Okay, so having a look at it now, we're going to just eye it up again, see what way that is. So I'm going to place that down. So I said earlier about this cable tie that we put about 50 centimeters up in the hazel. That's going to go at that center point there where the 3 hearts have come together. Okay, so what you can do is you can get another cable tie and you're going to put it in through the middle heart. So this is the middle heart here, around the frame of the middle heart and back out, making sure you get on either side of the hazel rods and give it a really good tightening. Okay, now we're going to be putting on attachments for the hazel in a couple of other places as well, just to make sure that it doesn't move. Okay, so we have it on there like that. Okay, so I think now if we just have a look, we have 2 rods here. Okay, so what I'm going to suggest is that we take one of these rods and that we bend it over. Remember we did that when we were making the heart, we did a nice kind of curve at the top of the heart, and what that's going to do is it's going to give you the opportunity to stick it on in a few places with a few additional cable ties. So it's going to give strength to the shamrock all the way across. So it's going to keep it together in the center, and then it's going to keep these individual components at the edge a little bit more, well, a little bit more rigid. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a smaller cable tie this time, and I'm going to begin around the frame on the outside of this shamrock here at the bottom on the right, and I'm going to bring it all the way around that hazel that I've curved over. Now it's hard enough to put these on sometimes, so you might need a bit of help with that. Okay, 2 people is often one person to hold the hazel and another person to put on the cable tie. So you see the way I've put this on? So we have this nice curve coming across here, and we have it attached on the outside here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another cable tie and I'm going to attach that hazel to the frame of the center heart as well. Okay, so I'm going to put the cable tie around the frame of the heart here, making sure that I get the hazel in that as well, and then I'm going to tie the cable tie in. Again, this might have to put that down for that, it's kind of hard to get it together there. Now I didn't get that one on, so I'm going to try it again. Okay, so in underneath the frame, and sometimes what I was doing there is I was trying to catch too wide a kind of a space, I think, and then also there was maybe a few too many rods, and the cable tie that I had was a little bit short, so it wasn't going around the way I wanted it to. Okay, so just going to give that cable tie a nice tighten there. So we have our hazel is attached here at the center, it's attached here on the corner or the edge of the heart on the middle heart, and again it's attached here on the with a cable tie on this bottom right hand heart as well. So it gives it a nice bit of strength, okay? So now I'm going to get the other hazel and I'm going to curve it over again. Same idea. Curve it over and give it a chance to attach to the outside of the center heart on the frame, and again over there on the edge of the heart on the bottom left, okay? Now, so I'm going to start cable tying, small cable tie on the outside of the heart on the bottom left, okay? Now, you don't really want it to be seen from the front, so make sure that you kind of get it in over, I suppose, where the two frames of the hearts come together, okay? So down low enough that it's not coming or crossing over the gap here between the hearts, okay? Give it a good tighten. And that's that one on. And now for another one. And I'm going to tighten that to the frame of the center heart this time, okay? And then it'll really help the shape stay together. Now it's pretty thick here, the frame for my heart that I made, so hopefully my cable tie will go on okay. So gardening wire can be really useful for this as well. So it can, you know, it's easily just, you cut it into little lengths, and then you can place it around your material as well. I think I have this here now, and it's just there. Once you get the grip of the cable tie, it should go on okay. Now that's it there, okay? So we have the shamrock put together. Now it needs a little bit of trimming, I think, but we've got the general shape and it's nice and strong, okay? Now if you think that you need to put a few more cable ties in or a little bit of string or wire to, you know, really strengthen that up, then you just work away with that yourself. There's no problem at all. Just put in a few additional ties here and there and using the existing weaving that's there to stick those cable ties to, okay? Now, before I go and have a look at this properly, and before I give them a trim, I'm just going to give them another tighten just to make sure that they're all okay, which they are. Now, I'm going to clip off the cable ties, just the lengths of cable ties. I'm going to leave the cable ties on, but I'm going to cut off the excess pieces, and I'm just going to get those like that, just so we have it nice and clean. And then we'll give it a little bit of a trim, because the hazel at the moment is a bit long on the sides, and I think it might be good if we just trim that off, because otherwise we'll have big legs coming out of our shamrock, okay? Now, so just where the hazel ends at the frame on the outside, just leave a centimetre, and with your snips just give it a little bit of a trim, okay? Same on this side over here. Where it stops at the edge here, where the frame is, just give it about a centimetre, and then with your snips, be careful not to cut your frame, and give it a little cut, okay? And the hazel is finished then, okay? Now I've got one last cable tie down the end that I forgot to trim, so give that a trim, and then I'm going to straighten up these two lengths here. They're not straight, and I think it would look better if they were, so I'm just going to give that little one here a chop to give them a nice flush cut, okay? Now I'm going to turn that over now again, and we've made our giant shamrock, okay? So I think a nice thing to do for this is as an additional kind of I think element to it would be to suggest maybe that you could decorate it even further yourselves, okay? So the idea with this shamrock is that you make the shamrock out of forage material, and then once you've made it, you then decorate it. You can use all sorts of stuff to do that, and then you can hang it outside your house. So I'm just going to have a look at some of the stuff that I have here, and that I found I rooted through boxes and upstairs and everywhere, and I found a few bits that I thought might work, okay? So I have found some nice kind of green, kind of lovely thick thread. I thought that might work well for Paddy's Day, so we could take out lengths of it and you could wrap it around whichever way you wanted. Maybe you could wrap it around the frame, it could go all the way around if you wanted, or just in sections. So I've got some green thread, thought that might be an idea. I've got some of these, some nice pipe cleaners of all different colours, so you could make little bows out of them, or you could make little shamrocks if you wanted to. You could do the whole idea again with 3 little small hearts, and you could make little green shamrocks or little orange shamrocks, little white shamrocks, or any coloured shamrocks you wanted, and you could add that to your shamrock and decorate them even further. It would look really, really nice, okay? I have some buttons here as well, so I thought maybe if you wanted to, you could put a bit of thread through buttons and you could stick them on in different places. It would add another dimension, even more kind of texture, patterns, different things. These ones here have a nice little pattern on them, so I think everything you add to them would look great, okay? There's some kind of tassels. I think if you look at like the tradition of making you know, badges for St. Patrick's Day, the St. Patrick's Cross, that kind of thing, we look at materials and paper and different items that we have around the house that we might make the St. Patrick's Cross with. And I thought, well, maybe you could extend that and apply that, this idea of making the shamrock. It's kind of like bringing the kind of the two histories together, okay? The symbolism and then also the making of it, okay? We have some wool and some bits of fabric, okay? So I thought with the fabric, or if you found an old t-shirt or something like that, like a green t-shirt, an old jersey or anything at all, if you didn't have any ribbon or you didn't have something like that, you could get an old t-shirt and you could cut it into strips and you could use that to enhance your shamrock even further, okay? Now, we have some fairy lights as well. So I'd suggest that the lights would be wrapped around the whole structure. So you could follow the frame all the way around the outside and you could bring the lights in between all your weaving. And then at night time, when you have it hanging outside your house, everybody would be able to see your shamrock with the lights glittering in the distance. And it would just look really, really beautiful and would really enhance your work, okay? So I think all of those things are there. You can have a little bit of a think about them, and you can maybe, before you forage, maybe you could have a think about how you're going to decorate, you know, what you might need, have a little look around the house, get all your foraging materials together, get all your tools ready, and then you're ready to make your giant shamrock, okay? So thank you very much, and I really hope you enjoy it, and good luck making your giant shamrock. Happy St. Patrick's Day.